I genuinely cannot believe what I have just read. The government has just published a handy guide for illegal migrants on how not to be a rapist, not to be a paedophile, how not to beat women, and how not to leave babies alone. That, again, may be really hard to believe, but that is exactly what they have just done. Illegal migrants are being taught what consent means, being taught that a woman has to say yes before you get to have sex with them. It has to be explained to them that men and women are equal. There's a handy cartoon here to help them understand that beating a woman is illegal.
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
They're also told that it is illegal to harass people. And they have a full explainer here as to what child abuse is, including any sexual contact with a child under 16 is a serious crime. And it goes on and on and on. There's some important rules for parents, informing them that they shouldn't leave babies alone. Now, there's endless propaganda from the government that actually these men, that 200,000 people have turned up on our beaches illegally over the last 8 years from countries like Afghanistan, don't pose any meaningful threat to British women and girls. We know that that is not true. And when Nigel Farage and other reform figures have pointed out the threat that they pose to British women and girls, they are howled and shouted at by the political establishment. Well, this disgrace shows you exactly what the government knows. They know that they are a menace and they are living in taxpayer-funded hotels. You are paying for their living costs in HMOs, in hotels. They are being dispersed all around the country and they are in your local area. In some cases, they're near schools. They all need to be detained. They need to be deported. Reform will put the Navy in the Channel to maintain a hard perimeter with the clear orders: do not allow a single unauthorized vessel to reach our shores, and every illegal migrant that the Tories and Labour allowed into this country will be detained and deported without delay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For decades, the political establishment in Westminster has betrayed British workers. British people have barely seen any real wage growth. Over 1 million young Brits are now out of work and education. The Tories and Labour made Britain one of the softest touch countries on earth for illegal workers. They created an ecosystem in which illegal migrants are funneled directly into our national economy, driving down wages and funding the despicable people smuggling gangs operating across the Channel. They effectively decriminalised illegal working in the United Kingdom. Now, this is a key reason why British people have barely seen any real wage growth. It's a key reason why over 1 million young Brits are now out of work and education. Existing civil fines are treated by bad actors as a minor cost of doing business. The system protects corporate elites and high street criminals while penalising law-abiding British workers and young people seeking their first job and honest businesses that play by the rules. Well, under a reform government, this betrayal ends. We will introduce the toughest penalties in the world for those who employ and profit from illegal migrants. We'll restore order to our high streets, protect the integrity of our border and return fairness to the British economy. We will stand up for British workers. Now, illegal working is embedded in the business models of multi-billion-pound multinational corporations operating in Britain. In our major cities, it's common knowledge that illegal migrants housed and fed in hotels and HMOs at immense expense to the British taxpayer are moonlighting for gig economy platforms. Recent enforcement operations revealed a staggering 40% of gig economy delivery riders checked in targeted sweeps were working illegally. Local police officers have privately reported enforcement operations yielding a 100% hit rate. So why does this happen? Because platforms allow individuals to rent out and trade accounts on social media with zero meaningful oversight. Corporations turn a blind eye while harvesting huge financial returns. That's why Reform UK will introduce the Deliveroo Law. Under this legislation, company directors will be held personally and criminally liable for systemic illegal working within their businesses, regardless of whether they claim personal knowledge of individual breaches. We will mirror the senior managers and certification regime used by the Financial Conduct Authority, strict liability for those at the top. If a company accumulates material immigration breaches or fails to demonstrate compliant right-to-work checks, its executives will face up to 5 years in prison. And all platforms operating in Britain will be legally required to designate a UK accountable person. Overseas directors will not evade justice. Alongside prison sentences for directors, Reform UK will impose crippling financial consequences on the corporations themselves. Large companies that exploit illegal labour will face fines of 10% of their annual worldwide turnover. We will target the individuals who facilitate this trade by renting out their accounts to illegal workers too, those who lease their credentials to illegal migrants. They will face immediate revocation of their visas if they are non-citizens, large fines backed by asset seizure and jail sentences. To protect road safety and close regulatory backdoors, reform will make it illegal to use any vehicle for commercial delivery without a full British driving licence. I know, in saying that this would be a new policy. Ending the widespread misuse of provisional learner licences. The decay of Britain is equally visible on our high streets. We all see it every day. Over the last 15 years under Tory and Labour governments, over 10,000 classic British pubs have closed their doors. Beloved retail institutions, department stores and local bank branches have vanished, driven out by excessive red tape, exorbitant business rates and crushing taxation. Yet, as legitimate businesses close, we have witnessed an artificial boom in cash-intensive operations. For every British pub lost in recent years, 7 vape shops have opened. The number of nail bars has surged by 91% since 2010. The number of foreign barber shops has doubled nationwide and tripled in places like Essex and Doncaster. Nobody genuinely believes all these operations survive on legitimate commercial demand. In fact, the National Crime Agency estimates that £1 billion in criminal cash is laundered through high street front businesses every year. They trade illegal products, they evade tax, they employ undocumented workers and act as fronts for organised crime. Honest small businesses simply cannot compete. Reform UK will execute a comprehensive strategy to reclaim our high streets. Firstly, we will introduce national licensing for vape shops. These licences will be capped at 1,000 premises allocated to local authorities. This measure will instantly reduce the number of vape shops by 70%, ensuring they no longer dominate our shopping parades. Any unlicensed shop will be immediately closed and its assets seized.
The government just released a guide for migrants, and you will not believe what is inside modern Britain with the depth and clarity they deserve. If you value sharp, uncompromising commentary on the real state of our nation, take a moment right now to subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications so you never miss an update. Let us dive right in. There is a point at which political administration ceases to feel like governance and begins to feel like a satire written by someone who has lost all touch with reality. We have reached that point. The UK Home Office, under the direction of Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood, has released official guidance intended for asylum seekers and individuals who have entered the country outside lawful channels. The document sets out basic principles regarding personal consent, equality, and lawful conduct within British society. It is worth pausing to reflect on the sheer absurdity of the premise. We are looking at official publications featuring simplified illustrations explaining that bodily autonomy must be respected, that harassment is illegal, that men and women enjoy equal standing under British law, and that infants must not be left unattended. To suggest that individuals arriving in the country require illustrated literature to comprehend fundamental standards of safety and civil respect is an admission of an enormous policy failure. It demonstrates that the state is fully aware of the severe cultural friction created by its border policies, yet its primary answer is a set of pamphlets. Before we proceed further into what this reveals about current governance, please subscribe to Britain Underneath if you have not done so already. Supporting the channel helps ensure that independent, serious analysis of British institutions continues to reach a broader audience. This brings us to the sharp critique delivered by Zia Yusuf, speaking on behalf of Reform UK. His reaction to the Home Office document highlights the fundamental contradiction at the centre of the government's approach. As Yusuf observed, the official narrative surrounding migration, consistently framing arrivals as seamlessly integrated professionals, directly conflicts with the reality of issuing basic conduct handbooks. The government claims to manage borders responsibly, yet it acknowledges that those arriving require instruction on the foundational norms of modern British society. Yusuf emphasised that the government is fully aware of the risks and operational strains created by uncontrolled migration, yet continues to house individuals in taxpayer-funded hotels, HMOs, and residential areas across the country. His argument is straightforward. Rather than distributing guidance booklets on civil behaviour, a sovereign nation ought to enforce its borders, uphold strict legal entry protocols, and ensure immediate detention and removal for those who cross unlawfully. The introduction of these guides does not solve the problem. It merely confirms the government's quiet recognition of the issues it publicly downplays. Meanwhile, the response from Whitehall remains completely disconnected from public concern. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood recently announced plans to distribute asylum accommodation more broadly across the UK, moving toward a mixed model that utilises student housing, disused military sites, and residential properties in various communities. The policy is presented under the banner of fairness, suggesting that no single region should bear the full responsibility. But distributing a systemic failure across a wider area does not turn it into a success. Telling local communities that accommodation will be spread more evenly ignores the core demand of the public, which is not equal distribution of illegal arrivals, but effective border enforcement. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button for Britain Underneath. Your subscription allows us to keep analysing these critical issues without filter or spin. Take a breath, stay informed, and help us build a home for serious political discourse. The institutional failure here is deliberate. Sovereignty is not an abstract, theoretical concept. It is the fundamental right of a nation-state to determine who enters its territory, under what conditions, and subject to what standards of law. The current administration attempts to frame border control as a complex, almost insurmountable legal dilemma. Yet the truth remains simple. Protecting national integrity is a choice. Other nations enforce their boundaries firmly because they recognise that social cohesion, national security, and public confidence depend upon it. When a government resorts to publishing booklets reminding adults of basic legal standards while continuing to house thousands in local communities against public wishes, it has surrendered the primary function of governance. It is prioritising administrative narrative management over national security and community well-being. The public is not asking for fairer distribution of managed failure. The public is demanding an absolute restoration of law and order at the border. Thank you for watching Britain Underneath. Subscribe to the channel now to stay connected. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and ensure you return for our next deep dive into the political realities shaping our country.